What's going on, everyone? UFC Saudi Arabia has just wrapped up, and I'm going to go over my bets and my predictions for the card and just my overall thoughts and opinions of the fights. So we'll start off straight away with how I went with predictions. 8 out of 11. Solid card. I picked a few underdogs, like I picked Oezdemir. Naimov was on his way to winning that before he fumbled the bag, and I was very close on picking Volkov. So 8 out of 11 is pretty solid. And then our bets, we killed our bets. The safety parlay hit with really no sweat. I mean, people say the Nasrat Haqparast fight was close, which it definitely was, but I think he clearly won 2 rounds out of the 3. And then the other 3 legs, the Yugshi, Muradov, Nathan Kelly, and Paul Hughes, they all won dominantly. So only one of those legs was pretty close, and we came through with a solid plus number on that. Then the straights slash props, we killed those as well. The Rinat and Dalby was never close to finishing, and we got that at -160. Naimov versus Lima, fight styles round 3. That was a solid pick because it ended in round 3, so it was a perfect prediction by me, because I did say that Naimov gasses in the 3rd. It wasn't really a gassing problem, but I still noted that round 3 is a bit of a tough round for him, and we secured that. Walker Oezdemir ends in KO. I think that was the clearest path there, and we saved from it. Like, we made a lot of money. Instead of picking fight doesn't go to decision, we saw what way the fight was going to end, and it was by KO, and then we saved a bit of money on that. And then we didn't win on the Whittaker 4-5 decision. Whittaker was just too good. One before that, but the pick was correct. It's just 4-5 decision is unfortunate, because that's normally how he wins, but he KO'd him in the first, which was solid. And then for the little nibbles, Oezdemir KO was perfect, plus 230, bang. D-Rod by decision, he kind of got dominated, which is, I picked Gastelum, but I said D-Rod decision is the best value you're going to get if you're picking the D-Rod side. Whittaker, like I said, won in round 1, and then the Volkov sub was nowhere near, because Volkov just didn't need to do that. So yeah, I mean, the nibbles are just small amounts, so you can't really be too upset on only 1 out of the 5 hitting. There's just little flyers that you only chuck on $5, $10. It was mainly the straights and especially the safety parlay that you should be concerned about, and we smashed both of those. So a good comeback week, 8 out of 11 of the picks, which brings us to a 63.5% pick rate for the year, which is pretty solid for this year, especially because there's been a lot of upsets, a lot of underdogs winning, and we've capitalized on that. So without further ado, I think we should just go throughout the card, starting with the early prelim of Chang versus Long Xiao. What a fight! I mean, they're both going to get UFC contracts. They're both going to have a couple more in the division, but I don't think either fighter is particularly good anywhere. But I did think Long Xiao clearly won that 30-27, if not 29-28. I mean, I think the headbutt played a huge factor in the first round, giving it to Chang because of the blood. But I think it was clear as day that Long Xiao won that fight. I mean, he had the better striking, he had the better wrestling. Chang only had the clinch knees, and that's literally all he did the whole fight. So, I mean, it was a close fight. I said on my breakdown, pick fight goes to decision instead of picking a fighter, and that's what happened. And yeah, I just wasn't really particularly impressed by either fight. I was a bit of a snoozer, to be honest. But yeah, close fight, you can't really complain. And what I'm going to do from now on in my recaps is I'm going to give my fighters, or the fighters that won, a rating out of 10. So for this one, I'm going to give Chang Ho Lee a rating of 5 out of 10. Then, all right, I'm going to do a little segment in this one as well, because there's a few undefeated fighters on this card and a few fraud checks, I would say. And I think this one begins with Mr. Magomed over here. I think he is a fraud, and I said it in my breakdown before the fight, and I just confirmed it after it. He is not your typical undefeated fighter. He has so many flaws into his game, and if he didn't rely on his wrestling and Brendson Ribeiro just doing nothing off his back, he wouldn't have won a fight, or this fight in particular. Brendson Ribeiro was probably the better striker out of the two and the more dangerous out of the two. And I said in my breakdown, if he gets taken down, he has like 1 sub-attempt off his back. And if he doesn't get that sub-attempt, then he kind of just gives up and allows his opponent to do whatever. And Magomed decided, you know what? I'm going to take that opportunity. I'm going to wrestle you, and I'm going to lay in your guard or 3/4 mount, and that's it. He could have passed to top mount and finished the fight a million times. But no, he wanted to just secure the victory, be boring. He was already gassed after the first round, if you couldn't notice. And Yeah, and even though he got the victory, I'm going to give him a solid 4 stars out of 10 because I think Brendson Ribeiro is not a good fighter, and I think anyone who is undefeated, who's going to make their run in this division, should be finishing Mr. Ribeiro. So yeah, 4 out of 10 for Magomed. All right, another one. Muin Gafurov versus Kang. And I don't think this was a fraud check at all. I think Muin Gafurov actually had a really nice performance, and he showed that he has striking, he has wrestling, and he can hang on the ground with these grapplers. Kang Ho Kang, I'm just gonna call him Kang from now on, showed that he is a good grappler, and that's about it. He kind of got dominated in the striking. Muin took him down, laid in his guard, did what he had to do. It wasn't the best work in the guard, it was kind of boring, it was kind of like what Magomed did. But on the feet, he threw some real nice combinations, and he threw it was like a 1-2 to the body, a left hook to the chin, and then swept him off his feet with a nice kick to the legs, and it was like a beautiful combination. I think it was a clear victory for Muin. 29-28 because he did give up a round, getting his back taken by Kang, but a good performance overall. I just think he's a bit undersized. He's a bit skinny fat, if you know what I mean. He's really tiny, and you can see in his stature he lacks he has no muscle definition. He's kind of like just like a straight line down, which might, I don't know, he might be strong, he might just be secretly like a Bryce Mitchell, just got that natural strength. But either way, he came around with the victory, and I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10 for this one. Ooh, we're going back to the fraud checks here. All right, Rinat Fakhretdinov versus Nicolas Dalby. Now in my breakdown, if you couldn't tell, I was so close to picking Nicolas Dalby in this fight, but I thought about it, and I just had to pick Rinat because I've seen Nicolas Dalby get taken down by Claudio Silva after Claudio Silva was completely gassed, and that was only a few fights ago. And that's what this fight came down to, the takedowns of Rinat. Now, did he win this fight? I don't think so. I picked Rinat. I think Dalby won this fight 29-28. And if we're going with the criteria of scoring and how we should be scoring, it's by damage. And Nicolas Dalby did the more damage in rounds 2 and 3 by far. Yes, Rinat was taking him down, but he was hanging on to bare life, and I mean he was doing 0 damage, no punches, nothing. Rinat does pack some power in his stand-up striking, but his stand-up, like I noted previously, sucks. It is atrocious. He throws like windmills, and any competent striker is going to knock this man out. I'm telling you, his stock didn't rise by his performance, and that's 2 times in a row now that he's raised some questions. Fraud check, yes, I think so. And I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10 for this performance. Oh, okay. Felipe Lima making his debut upper weight class against Naimov. Now, everyone's saying this is debut of the year, blah, 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 yada, yada. No, please don't jump the gun here. Yes, it was impressive that he got the finish in round 3. Yes, it was impressive with short notice, upper weight class. But don't kid yourself, it wasn't competitive for the first 2 rounds. Naimov was winning this clearly 10-9 for the first 2, like clear as day. I don't know where you could say Felipe was impressive in the first 2. It was like he was switched off. The striking was won by Naimov, the wrestling was won by Naimov, the grappling as well. The only thing that Felipe did well was come out in that 3rd round, and he basically went for the takedown, shucked Naimov off, took his back, and immediately snatched up the neck. Naimov was too busy trying to get up, wasn't defending the left hand of Lima, and gave himself a loss that he could have easily avoided, and he could be on like a nice little streak now. But now he's I don't know where he sits because he's got a lot of skills. He just fumbled the bag and fumbled it really badly. Now you can see from this fight and from Lima's past fight as well, he has a lot of skills and a lot of future, not in 145, but in 135. He was definitely undersized, and you could see it. With all that said, I still think it was a good performance by him because, getting a lot of fighters, they get told by their coaches, you got to finish him in the 3rd round, you got to do this, you got to do that, and you go see them and they just do the exact same thing they did for the first 2 rounds. You saw Lima had a burst of energy in the 3rd round and was like, screw it, I'm going to have to, what's the point of losing by decision? I'm going to go for it. And that's what he did. And I respect that. So for that, I am going to give him a 6.5 out of 10. I just don't think the first 2 rounds were that impressive, but the 3rd round, and with the circumstances surrounding it, I think it is deserved of a 6.5 out of 10. Now, a lot of people have been saying that Nasrat lost this fight, and I just don't see it. I mean, yes, first round was clear as day for Nasrat. Easy, easy. Second round, clear as day for Gordon. No problem with that. But the 3rd round, Nasrat did all the damage in that round. And you could see it in the boxing exchanges. He was throwing out the more volume in the 3rd round. He was hitting the chin of Gordon. Gordon was just as tired as Nasrat in the 3rd round. And people are thinking like, oh, Gordon was just walking down Nasrat. No, Gordon was walking, yeah, okay. But he was fatigued. And you could visibly see that Nasrat's punches were taking an effect on him. Was Nasrat gassed? Absolutely. Was it a good performance by Nasrat? Sort of. I'll get to that in a second. But you can't really say it was a robbery. It was a very, very close fight. And either way, like scoring it either way, yes, okay, fair enough. You could give it to Gordon. You could give it to Nasrat. But it's not a robbery in any means. Was it scary for my parlay? Absolutely. I was bricking it. I was scared. but you can't call it a robbery. And it was a close fight. Now, Nasrat's performance. Was it good? Well, he stuffed every single one of Gordon's takedowns, and it was a relentless pressure for the first 2 rounds of Gordon. I don't know what Gordon was on, but I've never seen him have that much cardio and have that a chin. He should have gotten dropped a few times in the first round because Nasrat was dropping bombs on him. But he took it. Good performance by Gordon, and an even better performance by Nasrat because he stopped everything that Gordon did. And yes, he got hit in the jab by the jab in the second round a few times, but he overcame that. He showed probably have the better cardio of the two because he was the one throwing more and landing better punches in the 3rd round. And yeah, I think it was a solid performance by Nasrat. I am going to give him only a 6 out of 10 because I do think you should be, you know, putting a stamp on someone like Gordon who's at the tail end of their career. But all in all, I think a 6 out of 10 is a fair assessment. And Nasrat showed that I think he's got a ceiling. Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it a run in this division by any means. But he is a solid fighter and he's got beautiful boxing, as you could see in this fight. So yeah, 6 out of 10 for Nasrat. Next up, pick the underdog here. We picked Volkan Oezdemir to KO Johnny Walker in the first, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, Johnny Walker just looked horrible in this fight, and Volkan looked pretty good. I mean, he did everything that he had to do. And you know what I loved? He saw that he hurt Walker. And what did he do? He didn't just go for a flaring blitz. He was calculated and he noticed when Walker was trying to go for counters and he capitalized on the in-between and he finished him off shortly after hurting him. It was a perfect performance by Volkan. Never was in any danger. Showed that he has beautiful accuracy. Like that was a uppercut that dropped that put Walker to the floor, and it was just a beautiful performance by Oezdemir. He didn't get touched once. He had a few leg kicks which he dealt with, which I think everyone thought, or everyone knew that Walker was going to do because he's been doing it for the past couple of fights for some reason. I don't know what they've done to Walker. They've just made him into a shell of himself. But you could see that he could not take a punch. And I said that out of the two, the person that can take a punch better is Oezdemir, and he showed that. He took, I don't know. I don't know if he took any punches, but Walker took only a few and got dropped and then got finished by it. So yeah, I think that was a beautiful performance by Oezdemir. You can't rate him any less than an 8 out of 10, which is what I'm going to do because you didn't see what the fight would lead to. So I can't give him any higher than 8, but I can't give him any less. So an 8 out of 10 I think is a perfect resemblance of what he scored. And yeah, I think Oezdemir is probably going to get a pretty high ranking fight for this next one, and I think Walker is going to just be a fun fighter to watch. He's either going to get a knockout or get knocked out. Maybe not get knockouts because he's doing the leg kicks. But yeah, 8 out of 10 for Volkan. Oh, okay. I got a rant here. This man, I said it in my breakdowns. I said it. He's not a good MMA fighter. He sucks at MMA. And I don't even think he's that good of a striker, to be honest. Oh, how did Dana White give this man a performance of the night bonus? How? This absolute fraud that did nothing the whole fight. Now, okay, where do I begin? Let's start off with his striking. His striking is not that good. He has kicks, but if you crowd him and you pressure him back, he can't do anything with the kicks. You could see Trocoli was doing that. And what did Shara do? He couldn't do anything. He went to leg kicks because you can't kick off the back foot. It's extremely hard to do. And if you can't cut yourself off from the cage, it's impossible. And he had to rely on his punches, which aren't the best either. Now, Trocoli is a bum. Didn't do anything this fight. But he won the first round. And if Shara didn't do that absolutely disgusting foul, this yuck fence grab in the second round, Trocoli probably would have won the second round, because I don't think Shara would have gotten up from his back. And I think Trocoli would have had his best shot at getting a submission, which is his best skill set. And I can't believe the referee just screwed Trocoli out of a chance of winning on this short notice fight. Shara was gassed. I don't understand how he was gassed, because Trocoli was only holding him against the cage. And he was lucky that Trocoli was more gas than him, because Trocoli had to drop all the way down to 185 in a week's notice, fly all the way from Vegas. I mean, he should be disappointed in this fight. And everyone's like, oh, he did well to not get taken down. Trocoli was so silly. He was going for a body lock takedown against the cage when Shara was fencing off with his knee and his leg, and Trocoli could have easily snatched up a single leg or even a double leg. Every single opportunity, he's literally presenting his leg to Trocoli. So I'm telling you, I'm so happy he got the knockout in the third round, because that's going to increase his price tag for the next one. There's going to be a fighter who has decent cardio, decent wrestling, and a decent chin, and he's going to finish Shara, and it's going to be the most beautiful price tag we've ever. It's going to be around plus 300, and we're going to capitalize on it every day of the week. Luderback, his previous opponent, would have beaten Shara. I have no doubt in my mind. And that must have been a tough weight cut, because his cardio was abysmal in that fight. He did well with the knockout, but that's it. And am I going to label Shara as a fraud? Absolutely. I think it was the biggest fraud on the card. I'm going to rate his performance a 4 out of 10. Bum, bum. Anyway, KG, Kevin Gastelum versus Rodriguez. I mean, I think people aren't going to know what to do against Rodriguez in the future, and I said in my breakdown as well, you just wrestle him. He can't stop takedowns, and you saw Kevin Gastelum just do these easy takedowns on Rodriguez, and that's what won him the fight. Yes, he was winning in the stand-up as well. He has a chin on him. He took some punches from Rodriguez that I think would have dropped many other fighters. But he showed that he has a chin. He showed that he has some fight IQ, because he just went to the wrestling after he saw how easy it was to get the takedown in the second round. And that's what he did. He won a very comfortable decision. I mean, Rodriguez is a good boxer, probably the better out of the two, but Gastelum just put on the forward pressure, threw in combination, and then went to the wrestling to secure the rounds. Nothing uber impressive, especially after his shambolic weight miss that screwed Rodriguez. But I heard Rodriguez got a 6-fight contract, and yeah, he got a decent amount of money from Gastelum. I think got 30% on top of his paycheck. So he probably got a nice paycheck for this one. But yeah, I don't know. Just wasn't really impressed by Gastelum. I mean, Rodriguez, he gave everything to Gastelum, and Gastelum took it. And, you know, the wrestling was good, but everyone knows that Rodriguez can't get off his back. He can't stop a takedown, and he can't get off his back. I mean, everyone knew that. So, yeah. I mean, I'm going to give Gastelum a 5 out of 10. I don't think it was that impressive. He obviously had the weight advantage. And like on the broadcast, they were saying Gastelum was probably eating burritos and tacos the whole fight camp, whereas Paul Rodriguez was probably eating some rice and tuna. so it's unfair advantage. Yeah, and you can't give him any more than 5 out of 10 because of that. That was 15 pounds over what they were supposed to fight at. 15. That's like 8 kilos or something. That's crazy. So yeah, 5 out of 10 for Gastelum. He secures his spot on the roster, but even Dana says he's not that impressed with it or happy with the performance. Okay, Volkov versus Pavlovich. I'm hurting after this one, because I was going to pick Volkov the whole week, and something just... I noted his something just picked Pavlovich for me. I think it was just the talk of the gossip, everything that everyone was talking. The Pavlovich is going to catch him. I was never very impressed by Pavlovich, but I was impressed by Volkov's defense. And what did I say? I said that that was the main thing I said in my breakdown. Volkov's defense has been beautiful the past couple of fights, especially against Tuivasa. And what did he do? He got touched by nothing. Every punch that Pavlovich threw was onto was onto Volkov's shoulders. Nothing ever hit him flush on the jaw. And what did he do? He used his length. He jabbed up Pavlovich's nose, body kicked him, teeped him, and just destroyed him. Clear victory for Volkov. Stayed out of the danger. I feel like maybe there was something to do with the friendship here, because I feel like Volkov could have turned it up on Pavlovich a bit and landed some more nasty body kicks, which were visibly hurting Pavlovich. But yeah, I think Volkov was just playing it safe. I'm going to give him a solid 7.5 out of 10 for this one. He did everything he had to do. I mean, a finish would have topped it off. But yeah, Volkov is on a run right now. And I think he can really make a run in this division. If he can fix up his wrestling flaws, which I feel like some people might capitalize on, he's a big, powerful fighter for this heavyweight division. And he has cardio. He was fresh as a daisy after the third. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10 for Mr. Volkov. And that's it, the main event. Bobby Knuckles getting that first round KO over Ikram. And I said Bobby would win, but in the later rounds, I really thought he was just going to weather the storm of Ikram and win by KO. I thought he was going to finish him, but I thought it would be in rounds 4 or 5, or maybe a decision. But yeah, definitely in the latter stages of the fight. I didn't think Bobby would have such a showing, and he showed that he can pick up on fighters' flaws. He saw that Ikram was throwing that lead naked kick. It was just a sloppy kick that I noted in my breakdown. He is off balance all the time, and he was off balance as Bobby just stepped to the left and threw that beautiful right hand that dropped him, or made him do the little salsa chicken dance. But yeah, Bobby showed that he is at the top of the division. He's ranked at that position for like 10 years for a reason. And, you know, you never know how the fight could have panned out. Maybe Ikram could have done some more if he didn't get hurt at that stage. But you got to take it at what the fight was. I mean, I'm going to give Bobby a 9 out of 10 for this one. And the reason why I'm giving him that extra mark is because he took it on short notice. He was supposed to fight a pure wrestler in Khamzat. He took on a mixed bag in Ikram, and he finished him off in the first round. So you have to give him a 9 out of 10 because he took on that short notice opponent as well. It's a short notice for Bobby as much as it is for Ikram. And yeah, he gets that beautiful finish. Is Ikram a fraud? No, he is not a fraud. I think there are way bigger frauds in this card, like that bum Shara, that bum Magomed. I mean, yeah. He's fine. He took a big step up from training for Trocoli. He probably thought, I got the easiest fight in the division to one of the hardest ones, and he took the chance and he hadn't make any excuse. That's what I love about fighters, and I have a profound respect for Ikram now because he didn't make an excuse after this fight. He took it on the chin. He noted what he did wrong, and I'm sure he'll come back stronger than this. But for Bobby, I mean, Bobby versus Strickland, Perth, make it happen. I know he wants to be the backup, but come on, give us Bobby versus Strickland, please. But yeah, other than that, guys, that's a wrap. I'll come out with my predictions for UFC 303 tomorrow. And yeah, we went well on this card. 8 out of 11, can't complain. Our bets hit, our safety parlay hit. I'll come out with my best bets for UFC 303 later in the week after the predictions. And yeah, get studying tape, enjoy the week. And we got a fun card coming up this Sunday, a really, really fun one. Other than that, I guess I will catch you later. Ciao.